PFA, staff procedural brief, press-ups. Aim. The aim of the press-ups element of the PTI fitness test is to assess the muscular endurance in the chest and shoulder girdle. Test criteria. You are required to count the number of correctly performed press-ups that the participant is able to perform within the time allowed. Positioning. As counter, you are to allow for difference in body shape of each participant and are to use their starting position as a guide throughout the test to evaluate each repetition. Start position. Feet no more than 30 centimetres apart, hands palms down in a comfortable position. Permit the participant to perform a few repetitions as warm-up and in order to ensure that their exercise is being performed correctly. On the word's command, stand by, go. They are to fully extend their arms looking out at the elbow. Toes used as a pivot, body must remain rigid and move as a single unit. Lower until their upper arm is parallel to the floor. Start of assessment, stand by, go. If the participant fails to perform the first 10 press-ups correctly, you are to tell them to stop and adopt the kneeling position where you are to explain to them where their mistakes is, inform them that they will be retested after a short period of rest. Inform the OIC that the participant requires a retest. Counter. You are to count aloud the number of correctly performed press-ups and repeat the number of the last correctly performed repetition if an incorrect one is done. Resting. Participants may take rest at any time during the 2 minutes in a position of their choice and may stretch off if necessary. But they must return to the start position before resuming the test. Timekeeper. As timekeeper, you are to notify test personnel that the test will start in approximately 30 seconds. Have satisfied yourself that the test personnel and conducting staff are ready. You are to start the test by saying, stand by, go. Time the continuous 2-minute period. End of test assessment. The assessment will cease on the word of command, stop. Safety and medical factors will be covered at the end of the sit-up brief. Instructors stand up. PFA, staff, procedural brief, sit-ups. Aim. The aim of the sit-up element of the PTI fitness test is to assess the muscular endurance in the abdominals and hip flexors. Test criteria. You are required to count the number of correctly performed sit-ups that the participant is able to perform within the time allowed. Positioning. As counter, you are allowed for difference in body shape of each participant and are to use their starting position as a guide throughout the test to evaluate each repetition. Start position. Feet no more than 10 centimetres apart. Hands in X position across the chest. Fingertips in the clavicle. Permit the participant to perform a few repetitions as a warm-up and in order to ensure that the exercise is being performed correctly. On the word's command, stand by, go. You are to sit up to the vertical position. Lower until the bottom of the shoulder blades touch the mat. Their partner will hold your feet with their hands only. Start of assessment, stand by, go. If the participant fails to perform the first 10 sit-ups correctly, you are to tell them to stop and adopt the kneeling position where you are to. Explain to them where their mistakes is. Inform them that they will be retested after a short period of rest. Inform the OIC that the participant requires a retest. Counter. On receipt of the notification from the timekeeper that the test is about to start, you are to adopt the start position. Resting. Participants may take rest at any time during the 2-minute period in a position of their choice and may stretch off as necessary, but they must return to the start position before resuming the test. End of assessment. The assessment will cease on the word of command, stop. Timekeeper. As timekeeper, you are to notify test personnel that the test will start in approximately 30 seconds. Having satisfied yourself that the test personnel and conducting staff are ready, you are to start the test by saying, stand by, go. Time the continuous 2-minute period. Stop. Instructors stand up. Safety. Before you start the test, you are to remove spectacles unless they are secured to your head. Also remove wristwatches, jewellery and rings. If you are unable to remove your ring, it must be taped. Medical factors. Should you feel ill or have any problems due to injury occurring during the test, you are to inform the counter, who will inform the OIC. PFA, staff, procedural brief. Run. Aim. The aim of this test is to assess the aerobic fitness of participants. Test criteria. Having undergone an 800 metre warm-up, the participants will be required to run 2.4 kilometres. Conduct. Test comprises of two parts as follows. Part 1. Part 1 of the warm-up comprises of an 800 metre walk run in a time of not less than 4 minutes 50 seconds and no more than 5 minutes. The pace will be set by a member of the conducting staff. Part 2. Part 2 of the test commences immediately after Part 1 and comprises of a 2.4 kilometre best effort run. Timekeeper. The assessment is conducted on an athletics track and the timekeeper is to announce individuals, lap times and participants as they pass. Safety. Wristwatches are permitted for this part of the test. Spectacles may also be worn if secured. Medical factors. Should you feel ill or have any problems due to injury occurring during the assessment, you are to inform the nearest member of staff, who will inform the OIC.